hello. I am Kim Hong-jong, Hong-jong Kim. I am affiliated in the Korea University Graduate School of International Studies. And then I'm very happy to share time with you today. Although it's a rainy day, I came back from the foreign country last night, so a little bit jet lag and some problems. But anyway, I will do my best to communicate with you. And today I will talk about some issues, global economic and financial and technology, competition, order, and other etc. Many issues. Maybe too many issues, but so because of the limited time, so I'd like to welcome the more questions from you rather than giving a lecture or something boring lecture. So first of all, I'd like to highlight some stylized fact what has been happened actually over the let's say 3 decades. Why I'm talking about the 3 decades means that let's think about what happens in early 1990s. So the communism disappeared and collapsed. All the Soviet Union and other big countries disappeared. Most of them disappeared, and then de facto the unipolar system led by the United States has prevailed. That is what we observed in the 1990s. Of course, most of them, maybe all of them, were not in the world, but anyway, yeah. So there was the kind of the hope era of hope, and in a sense, there is an era of arrogance and ignorance from the Western countries' point of view. So now we can think about what happens. After 1990s. The first one, of course, you talked about many issues about the international relations, security issues. So today I'm more talking about the economic issues. The first one is the rise of the global south. Okay, so the rise of global south. Global south. What is the global south? United Nations and organizations define the global south. But as the underdeveloped and developing countries who more or less lack of the many capitals, not only the physical capital, but also social capital and social infrastructure, education, human development index, in many issues, the global south is defined. But how can we define the global north? Global north is just developed countries. When you're thinking about the global north now, more feasible categorization of the global north is something like global west and global east. Global west is what you are saying about the Western countries, Japan, and more G7 countries, and then other very rich and advanced economies. What is the global east? Global east, more or less, is thinking about China. Because China no longer the global south. No, never. But China cannot be the global west as well, because China do not share so-called global value invented by the Europe. Refused to accept this kind of universal global value. So global west is not their area of the playground. So when you're thinking about the global east, I would argue that the global east, China and Russia. Russia is a very interesting country. I have been to Russia many times and participated in many forums and talks and many things. And interesting is that most of the Russian people, Russia is a federation, which means that there are so many minority peoples, but majority is the Slav white people. The looking is the white people, but when you are talking about the main issues, their argument, their understanding on how to understand the world order or world as something quite different from the so-called Western world. Very different. So we cannot, but Russia is not the global south. But anyway, so just except Russia and China, what I'm saying is that the rise of the global south means that not only China, but also other global south countries now emerge very rapidly. Think of India, think of Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia and Malaysia, and also other Middle Eastern countries and African countries as well. African countries, the population of the African country in 1960s, in the early 1960s, when they started to be independent, there was just, 0.2 billion population. But now it's more than 1.5 billion people. So very rapidly, growth of the population. And also Africa, now many countries, although they are still difficulties in the political instability, but the size of the economies emerged very rapidly, very much. So all of these things, but think of the newspapers or other social medias that there are so many arguments of the rise of the global south. And in many cases, the rise of the global south argument is exaggerated. The reason is that still international financial order, in terms of international financial order, dollar dominance is still very, very, very strong, very strong. Now China tried to do something, influence some weakening of the dollar dominance, but still they are not so successful. And also, in terms of the trade is something different from the financial. Trade is more diverse, so which means that dominance by the major countries like the United States is weaker than financial system. But still, Western countries, including the United States and Europe, are the biggest market for final goods. That is very important. Power, a country's power, when it comes to the trade, the power does not prove what you can export. In many cases, my country is now the ranks fifth or sixth, the biggest trading countries, especially the exporting country. Exporting in terms of export, my country ranks the fifth or sixth, something like that. There is some argument like the Netherlands or Korea, but exporting is very, very, it's not so powerful. The important thing is importing. You can buy from other people. You can buy other. That is very important. Import is the real power in terms of trade, and now still, the Western countries and the United States are still the biggest goods market for final goods, not intermediate goods. If you think of the intermediate goods, China is the biggest, of course, and still, and Korea also exports many intermediate goods, but the final goods importation is very good. So, but anyway, trade is like this. So, what I'm thinking is that you need to have some kind of balanced view. Global South rise is very important and very. But still, we need to think about that. It takes time for the countries of the global South, the top of the world, This is the economic size in 2023. This is the United States, and this is China, and other countries. Germany ranks now third, Japan fourth. So rank changing last year, and then other countries like the UK, India is here. Now the rank fifth, and UK, France, Italy, okay, in nominal terms. In PPP, purchase power parity criteria, now the China is the biggest country. But my judgment is that country comparison, when you talk about the country comparison, nominal size is more important than PPP. Purchase power parity, do you know what is purchase power parity? If you live in a country, then the purchase power parity criteria is they think about the value of lifestyle. So in developing countries, service charge, service charge is much lower than that of the developed countries like the United States or Switzerland. So in nominal terms, this kind of consideration cannot be included. But if you calculate the PPP terms, then you can understand, you can include this kind of gap of the service charge. Anyway, so PPP is very important to understand the value of the lifestyle. But in nominal terms, this is what it is. But it's quite difficult to see. But anyway, what I'm saying is that this is the forecast of the GDP size in 27, 26, 27, and most of the countries are now the global south countries. Okay, so the United States is number 3, and then China, India, Indonesia, and Philippines and other countries are included in the number rank 10, and then Korea is out of 25th or 26th because of the size of the compared to the other countries. So Iran and Nigeria and South Africa and many other countries will the GDP go up. So the size of the GDP is also very important to understand the power of a country. So this is we call the rise of the global south. Okay. And then this shows what has happened in the last 3 decades. In 1995, 2005, 2015, 2013, and this is the name of the country, and this is the rank, and this is economic size by the United States is set at 100. That's 100, 100, 100, 100. And then you can compare how big the country's economic size compared to the United States. Okay. So China here, Germany, and then UK and other countries. And then the economic size, what I'm talking is the red one is European countries. And then you can see that the European countries shrink very much. Like Germany has development quite substantial, but in 1995, the size of the German economy is 34%, but now it's just 16.3%. The UK as well, 17.5 to now the 12. The France, over 20, but now just 11. And Italy, also 15 to just 8. And then drastic changes, you can see Japan. In the case of Japan, the case of Japan, now it's almost, in 1995, the size of the economy of Japan Japan is over 70%, but now just 15.15% of the size of the United States. And then global South countries like China, not the global South, but not the global West, China, less than 10%, and now over 60%. Right? And then Russia also 4.4 to 7.3, and India also very rapidly increasing. So all of these things shows that the rise of global South over the last 30 years. And all of things also shows that Europe is a shrinking land. Very Europe and Japan. Europe and Japan. How about Korea? Korea, 1995, there was ranked 11, 10th, 11, and the last year 14. Just that is also. We Koreans are proud of the very rapid economic growth rate and economic success. But in terms of economic size, over the last 30 years, not so much, not so big change. Still, so in 1995, when I was at the time, we call our country, South Korea, the advanced developing country at the time. And now we think that we are one of the advanced countries. But the size of GDP is so. But the important thing is that Korea is not the kind of the Japan or the Europe shrinking, just stagnating. And one more thing is income. This is more drastic. 1995, United States income per capita is 100, Germany 111, richer than Americans. And where Japan? Japan also 158. So Japanese people are richer than the United States American people, more than 50%. So there was, and UK and France almost the same as the living standard of the Americans. And the UK slightly less than America. And Italy is over 70%. And then, like Spain is still very behind. And China, and India, Russia, just all the less than 10%. So Russia 7.9, China 2.1. So if the American people's income is 100, then Chinese income is just 2.1. 100 versus 2.1. That was the situation in 1995. And now, like this, American income is 100. Germany, UK, France, the leading countries in Europe, they are all something 60s or 50s. Collapse of the European income. Of course, that is not to say that Europeans' quality of life is much worse than Americans. But anyway, in terms of income, it shows that the clash of the European citizens. And Japan, where is Japan? Over the 150, now 42%. 42% of the American citizens. There's now, you see, in the Korea, some 40%. So 40% in the 2015, it reaches 50, but still 40 something. So we said that the Republic of Korea shows the remarkable economic growth rate over the last 60 years. Yes, that's right. But still, the income per capita compared to the Americans, United States, still some 40% is 50%. Of course, there is a comparison of the nominally, not the PPP terms. So if you want to live if you are living in the United States, you can feel that the price level is much, much higher. Because not only the tradable income, tradable goods, but also untradable goods. There are so many untradable goods, like if you go to the, say, barber shop. Okay? The barber shop service charge is much, much higher in the United States than in Korea. If you go to the Southeast Asian countries, the barber shop service charge is much, much lower than that of the Koreans. Right? So you can enjoy the more higher quality of life if you are living in the developing countries. So the gap between the advanced and developing countries, the gap is shorter if you calculate all of these kind of economic indicators in terms. But anyway, so this shows what happens the last time 30 years. Okay. And next one, what I want to show is that this is technology, advanced technology, future technology like AI or computing and IO and other. And this is in 2000, 2010, 2020, 2017, and most of the top technologies are shared by Japan. This is Japan and the United States. Japan and the United States. And after 10 years, China appears. And this is now. China. Right? Only one. United States, like China, like this. There are many methods how to evaluate the level of technology of a country. But in this case, this is something like the number of patents. So just one comparison. But anyway, you can see a lot of the changes happen. Okay, and this is I want to explain. This is something about the battery for automobiles. Now the battery for automobiles is very, very important. It's the future technology. And if you want to make electric vehicles, then high quality battery is very important. And this is the high quality battery production chain. So this is the resource, lithium, and then processing of the lithium, and then making some intermediate goods, and this is the final. Okay? And this is a country that they can do. China is the only country that they have they can do everything in their own country, right? This is China, and this is the United States, Nevada, and California, and other areas. But they can exploit lithium, and in some cases they can do processing of the lithium. But so United States have to cooperate with other countries if they want to make the quality. And this is other countries, okay? And then like Japan and Korea. Japan and Korea is more concentrated on the final goods manufacturing area, and we have to all import from other countries the lithium or process lithium from other countries. So highly dependent on the other countries' supply chain. So this is also not good for the economic security. Okay, and some other countries just exploit the lithium. So this shows that China is the only country who have perfect cycling supply chain process of some highly advanced goods, not only battery, but also rare earths and other advanced products as well, except well, semiconductor. That's the reason why the United States now concentrates on the facto sanctioning on China in semiconductors. So, and the United States cannot do things for their own. So they want to cooperate with other countries like Japan, Europe, and Korea, and Taiwan to press the China in terms of the production of high quality semiconductors. But anyway, most of the other things now in China they can make their own final goods, and also the level of technology is also very high. And economic security, I have to talk about economic security. The definition of the economic security is proactive defense against external tangible and intangible economic shocks that threaten the survival of the nation and its people. That is economic security. So when you're talking about the strengthening of economic security, this means that we need to protect our nation and our people against any unexpected tangible or intangible threat in terms of economic things. So when you're talking about economic security, there are two types of economic security: industry security and trade security. Industry security, you cannot produce the lithium ore and process lithium. So you are very weak in the industry security. And trade security, I want to import the lithium, processed lithium from China, but there are so many reasons why China cannot export their lithium, processed lithium to Korea. Maybe pandemic, or some disaster, some typhoon, some like the Chinese government's strategic decision, not to export the processed lithium to Korea. Okay, so there is related to trade security, and the intersection area security, protection and development of advanced technology. Now the world is the advanced technology, and our supply chain resilience, another one, and developing norms and institutions for economic security. So now economic security issues, not only the United States, but also Japan, China, Korea, EU, and many other countries talking about how to strengthen economic security. But in many cases, economic security issue is related to something like collapsing of the free trade, or some confusion of the supply chain, and also conflict, rising conflict among nations, among companies, and so that is why now we are thinking that it's getting more important moment, and how can I say? The famous movie and novel, Lord of the Rings. Have you seen the movie? 20 years ago, 23 years ago, Lord of the Movies. It was very popular, not only in Korea, but also all over the world. And in that novel, the first part is something about talking about the peace, situation of peace in Middle East. And then there's a Hobbit. Hobbit is the name of the people, Hobbit, small people. And then very peaceful town, village of Hobbit. And then some of them realize that now evil groups are now their power is strengthening, is growing, and then they want to catch the rings. If they get the rings, then they can rule all of the world. Okay? Not only the human beings, but also the hobbit and other tribes as well. So the decision was the hobbit people, they they went to the big mountain of Iber, and they need to throw the rings for eternal disappearance of this ring, because the ring is the source of all of the Iber were superpower. So, and then there is a word like this. The Hobbit people, they started to go, and then the old man of Hobbit said, now, finished, and now new era came. No longer peace. Now is the war and conflict. Okay. So that is the argument by the old man of the Hobbit, and he said to the younger one who are now eager to they're just deciding to join the expedition. Okay, be brave, and you should complete your mission in any cases. So what I'm saying is that after the Second World War and the first 30 years since 1945, there was dominance by the Western liberal order, and there was also the conflict between communism and capitalism. So in terms of the Western liberal system, of course there was Cold War. There was many events at the time, and some conflict as well. But the peace, at least in Europe and some other Asian countries. And in 1990s, after the communism collapsed, then unipolar system prevailed. And now, another 30 years, and now we are now starting to walk into the era of another conflict. That is what I understand. Okay? So that's optimistic view. But I think that I need to say that now something changing in trade order, in economic order, and in capitalist competition, and in the nations, identity conflict, and also value conflict as well. Why? China showed all the global South countries that the Western value is not the only value that you should follow. You can be rich, you can be happy, you can be economically, survive, even without following of the Western value. That is what China want to show. Of course, Chinese government consistently refuse to the kind of street strategy. We do not have any intention to export our system or our value to other countries. But the presence of China itself can show that, we don't have to take the democracy. We don't have to accept the human rights or rule of law to be rich. Okay? So that is what now the Turkey, what the other countries, I cannot say that so many African and Southeast Asian countries and many other developing countries, and even developed countries, the leaders are now getting more aggressive. Okay. And I want to explain that. Have you heard about the BRI? Belt and Road Initiative, Belt and Road. When I think of Belt and Road, the Chinese leader Xi Jinping argued about more than 10 years ago, or 2013. And we need to re-establish the old Silk Road. Okay? The old Silk Road means that there is wood Thailand, and there is the root by sea. Okay, and then in Chinese terms, this root by land is belt, and in Chinese terms, this sea route is the road. So the first name of this initiative is One Belt and One Road initiative. In shorten now, BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. So this is the Belt and Road Initiative. What China is looking. So they want to, China want to, cooperate, strengthening cooperation with countries in the process of the BRI. Okay? So Italy is also a target country, and some Central European countries, and all the countries, including Eastern Africa, and then all these countries, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and all these Eastern countries, and Turkey and other countries. So this is the BRI. And BRI is not becoming initiative. BRI is the strategy for China to be more ambitious, to stand up as the #1 country in the world. The background for this BRI is that Chinese people now very rapidly developed, and now mostly G2 countries, they stood up. But they realize that they think they are isolated. They are surrounded by their enemies. And the major enemy is the United States, they think, and Western countries. Why? Think of the case, this is China, and China is facing 14 countries. 14 countries, and all these 14 countries, and then very difficult to handle with. United States, only 2 countries, and very, very friendly countries. Yeah. So China is much this privilege, they think, and also. One of the important things for a country to develop is how much they can face with sea. Sea is very important. Sea. So landlocked country is the very, very difficult to cross. And so think of the case in the United States. The United States is facing big ocean, 2 big oceans. So very, 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 very privileged situation. How about China? Although China's land size is so big, they want to go to the Okhotsk Sea, but Russia is here. Okay? So they cannot go to sea. They want to go to this Bengal area, but Myanmar is here. Okay? They want to go to this Arabian Sea, but Pakistan is here. Right? The only sea they have is East China Sea and Southern China Sea, South China Sea, only 2. Compared to the land size of the China, this sea is too small. And even in this sea, in the East China Sea, Taiwan is here. Guam, is here, and Okinawa is here, or the United States, American friendly country, or American troops are there. So that's the reason why China is arguing and raising the issues in South China Sea. Because South China Sea is there, they are so important. Taiwan is also so important. Not only Taiwan, they want to unite one China, but also Taiwan is strategically located to block for China's advancement of the Pacific Sea. So that is very good. So how can we how can we overcome this kind of difficulties? The idea is BRI. So BRI is a strategy for China it's a stepping stone for governing the world. And so, at first, I mean, other country leaders did not recognize how important BRI was. And then came to understand, we should not ignore BRI. Okay? So, Abe, the late Prime Minister Abe, initiated Indo-Pacific strategy. Indo-Pacific. So, Indo-Pacific strategy is something like against BRI. Of course, I mean, when you are talking about Indo-Pacific strategy, all the countries who proposed the Indo-Pacific strategy, they argue that China is not the exception of the Indo-Pacific strategy. China should join the Indo-Pacific strategy. But in reality, I mean, this is very difficult for China to join the Indo-Pacific strategy. Japan, United States, Europe, and other Western countries, they are trying to governing this big sea, big ocean through the Indo-Pacific strategy. Okay, so this is the BRI versus Indo-Pacific strategy, and the United States Biden administration initiated the Indo-Pacific economic framework. So, Indo-Pacific framework, the United States want to be friendly with this Indo-Pacific country. And the United States also try to TTC, Trade and Technology Council, or the Europe. So, in both wings, in Indo-Pacific countries and the European countries, the United States want to make the more friends. So this is what now is. So, well, there is no battle, no conflict, no physical conflict in the Indo-Pacific area. But now, de facto, the war has already begun. The talking point, the rise of global south, global west, global east, and the widening income inequality within across the country. One, I told you, I explained, I show you that the widening income inequality among the advanced economies, the United States versus other countries. Okay, and this can have some important meaning. The reason is that in the past, the United States has very good friends of the Europe and Japan, and also Australia, Canada, so-called G7 countries. So if United States want to do something, their friends cooperate with the United States. But if their friends are weaker like this, then the United States, even if they are very strong and very rich, but it's getting more difficult for the United States to do something anymore. That's the subject. G7 versus BRICS, G20. G20, now that we have a G20 annual meeting, G20 is still very important. You may think that G20 is, there is invention by global financial crisis in 2008. No, G7 is still very important, G20 is still very important. And in G20, there is also big conflict between G7, all the G7 countries and BRICS countries, like India, South Africa, Brazil, China, Russia, BRICS countries. And BRICS countries, now, BRICS countries didn't recognize, but they now see that always G7 summit meeting is prior to G20. G7 summit meeting usually happens in July, June, and the G20 late autumn. So BRICS summit meeting also occurred in September or October, like that. So before the G20, two groups they meet prior to the G20, and then they want to talk about many issues, and they want to agree before the G20. And this is the reason why I think that in the near future, G7 want to invite not only South Korea, but also Australia, because they want to strengthen the presence of Indo-Pacific. Right? So, growing conflict in trial and effectiveness of multilateral institutions like the World Trade Organization, United Nations, because of the growing conflict and the totally trade disorder. Now the WTO steps in Geneva, they are now worrying about how can they get settled, because it's very difficult for them to do. Like-minded countries, unilateralism or plurilateralism is now prevail. So there seems to be good, but that is not good for the world peace and the world prosperity. The picture of great transformation. Great transformation, I coined the great transformation is the digital transformation and green transformation. And this great transformation, I think, they can enlarge gap between advanced countries and developing countries. Why? The advanced countries can more face with this great transformation, while the developing countries lag behind, even in the great transformation. Because security and supply chain there is growing importance. And BRI, strategy I told you, Asian economic community is in the Pacific strategy. So I think that the Asian economic community, when you're talking about this community, you need to think about how to mix the BRI and the Indo-Pacific strategy. I think that is a very important issue in the Asian economic communities. Revisiting the northern policy. Of course, it's now very different because the Russian-Ukraine war is still going on. But we need to think about the northern policy again from the Indo-Pacific countries, not only Korea but also Southeast Asian countries. Singapore has many considerations on the northern policy. How to make the relations with Mongolia and START countries and Caucasus countries, Russia as well as Russia. Okay. And India ranked 5th now, and India will be ranked 3rd maybe in 2027 or 2028. Two or three times a year I visit India to participate in many activities, and I think that India's power is really growing, and now India is de facto the representative of global south. They are, and I think India is eligible to take this responsibility. Very, very important to India. And I have to work, and the international trade order, international financial order, just almost collapsing, but the collapse does not necessarily mean the weakening power of the United States. If international order disappears, then the United States can show their teeth. Okay? Because of if the playground is out of order, then conflict, is growing, and so this can show that we need to talk about more about how to rebuilding the international trade order